This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, once again, had my afternoon cold brew, and my head is spinning.
Wow, I mean, it's 9 o'clock at night.
I know. I had a cold brew around like 4:30
Wait,
today.
you nuts? You can't be doing that, Tim.
Look at me, though. I'm
you're-
glowing.
Well, I think you might just be...
I'm with child.
Well, I hope not, Tim. I hope the last thing this podcast needs is some kind of junior situation.
I think that might be the first thing.
that might actually be the spark that finally brings us closer together. Well, that's you know what? I gotta get on having like afternoon coffees. I don't do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. It's great.
I used to do it all the time, and I'm like a fast caffeine metabolizer.
What does that mean?
It hits me right away, but it doesn't stay in my body very long. So it's good. Like I feel like as soon as I start drinking coffee, I'm like, oh, this is great. I feel this, but then I'm not one of these people that can't sleep at night as a result.
Right.
So I should take more advantage of that. I should be drinking coffee right up until the moment my head hits the pillow.
I recommend it.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to be able to do that in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm in my late 20s, it's difficult for me to do that normally. But with a newborn child, look, man, time means nothing.
Yeah.
Like I'll drink a coffee at
you're
3 in the morning
on
when I'm
paternity
feeding.
leave too, so
Yeah.
it's like you're on a unique schedule. It kind of doesn't matter when you sleep when you can, and sometimes you can't. So
Yeah.
you do what you need to.
Tom? Oh, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say I think it would be very funny if you just I mean it's too late now, but if you just kept up the charade that you were in your 20s like this whole time, and then when we finally did live shows, people were like, God, Tim looks like shit.
I look pretty good. I look good for my age, Tom.
You look good for 25.
I do look pretty good for
Tim,
25.
you look like shit for a 25-year-old. If
don't
I saw
know.
a 25-year-old that looked like you, I'd be
Tom,
like, what happened?
Tom, if I got a
that
haircut.
25-year-old's been out in the sun too much.
If I got a haircut. No, Tom, whenever I go to a dermatologist, they're
Uh-huh.
like, for your age, your skin is fantastic.
Yeah. You must never go out in the sun.
I don't.
You must
I mean,
be practically a hermit.
If I got a haircut,
Mm-hmm.
trimmed my beard a little
Yeah.
bit, put on some nice clothes.
You'd have to dye your hair. You've got gray hairs.
do you
25-year-olds don't have gray hairs.
Some do. Some are bald.
That's true. Yeah, but I feel like being bald is different than, I guess people go prematurely gray.
Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Would you have said anything to Steve
No,
Martin
but
in
what I'm-
1975, Tom?
But what I'm saying, Tim, is regardless of this, you should take advantage of the situation. Dye your hair and your beard black as night. It's very, very black.
If I trim my beard, you won't see the gray.
Mm-hmm.
My hair, it's not. I'll wear a hat.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
or
how
you
the
can-
kids
Well,
dress.
you've got the gray is like in the temples, so you could get like a cool 20s haircut where you have the sides shaved and nobody would even know.
Yeah, and I'll frost the tips on top.
No, Tim.
I think that's back. No, I think that's
gonna
back
give you
now.
a way that people are gonna know this isn't a real guy.
It's
who's
back.
25.
It's all cyclical. It was a thing 25 years ago. It's back.
They're gonna say this isn't a 25-year-old man. This is a sad 40-year-old man with frosted tips. I've been thinking about not frosting my tips, but bleaching my hair.
Why?
Just because I could, right? Like,
I mean, you could do anything.
yeah, but I've never done it. I mean, granted, I shaved my head once because I was like, oh, I could shave my head, and it looked
That was a
awful. I
mistake.
hated
Yeah.
it. My head's so big. Like, I mean, my head's big with the hair on it too, but I don't know. The hair is like a little distracting, I guess.
Not as distracting as you might think, Tom.
I mean, the hair's just making my head bigger, but it's like an optical illusion. Once the hair wasn't there,
Yeah.
way too big of a head.
What
it
you
looked
need
unnatural.
to do, Tom, you need to really bulk up. You
Yeah.
need to finally become a hulking strongman.
And then I can bleach my hair without.
Well, then your head won't look so big.
Yeah.
Right? Atop your rail-thin body.
Right.
And then bleach your hair. Yeah, what are you trying to do? Some kind of Joker thing?
No, I'm not trying to do some kind of Joker thing. If I was doing a Joker thing, I would dye it green.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm
You
thinking
bleach
just-
your hair, and then you be like, okay, now a clean slate, a nice palette. For
Oh
the-
yeah, then I could make it green. Huh?
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking I bleach it and then for the summer, and then people are like, "Wow, you look different." I'd be like, "Oh, I've been at the beach a lot."
Why don't you use Sun-In? Does that actually work?
Yeah.
People in
You
high
can-
school, for some reason, people were using Sun-In. It's
Yeah.
some stuff that you put in your hair,
Uh,
and then when you go in the sun, it makes your hair lighter.
yeah, you can do that with lemon juice. It does the same
And
thing.
I thought, like, I'm not cool enough to do that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I just do that?
I mean, did you want to?
I wanted to, but I wasn't cool enough.
Oh, well.
I had low self-esteem.
If you didn't think you were cool enough, I mean, I'm pretty sure Sun-In was like a pretty like vague thing. You know, it wasn't like a dramatic change.
I saw some good dramatic results, but those were people who were in the sun a lot.
Yeah.
But I would summertime, Tom.
You would you'd maybe put the sun in and you wouldn't like it, and then you'd have to spend the whole summer indoors, lest your hair turned a strange shade of color
Exactly.
every time you went outside. You could do it with lemon juice. I would do when I was a teenager. Sometimes I would put some lemon juice in
I
my
never
hair.
remember your hair being any lighter.
It was like a little bit lighter. That's
don't-
what I'm saying. It was.
I want it to be noticeable if I'm going to do it.
Well, then just bleach
I
it.
have to trick a bunch of 25-year-olds.
That's true. Well, then just go ahead and get your tips frosted.
Yeah. Well, here we are, back at the frosted tips.
Yeah, I guess it does make sense.
I'll
that
shave the side of my
do it
head.
for your 40th birthday. Frost your tips. God, oh boy, if you
No,
did
it'll
that-
be cool when I do it.
if you showed up at your 40th birthday party with frosted tips, a lot of people would have to find excuses to get out of there. Like, oh boy, I feel like we don't have too many friends that have had good midlife crises yet.
Nobody has enough money.
I guess that's what it is. Nobody has enough money to like.
Crises
Get
follow
divorced.
success, right?
Nobody has enough money to get divorced and marry a college girl
Yeah.
or something like that, and buy a Corvette. No, but I feel like sometimes people do midlife crises that they can't necessarily afford. Crises
Okay.
that they can't necessarily afford. You know, somebody could go and lease a Lambo or something.
Yeah, I don't. We don't seem the like. I don't think. I mean, I guess if
I
trying
feel
to
like
think.
midlife.
AJ bought a Lamborghini, I'd be like, all right, cool move.
So you're basically saying if anybody had a midlife crisis, you'd be immediately fooled into thinking, oh, I guess they are pretty cool.
I think so. Or I'd be like, oh, cool. Like, they're working through some stuff,
Yeah.
but that Lamborghini looks really cool, right?
I guess that maybe that explains the midlife crisis, that the people around somebody having a midlife crisis, they might actually be impressed. They might actually be like, oh, I guess this guy's becoming cool now. It's just younger people that
Well-
can see right through it.
I don't even know. Like, what's the? I think we're both kind of like, look, you go either way, right? When you hit 40,
Yeah.
right? You go either like, all right, I'm going to try to reclaim my youth,
Uh-huh.
or I'm going to try to like lean into the fact that I
Yeah.
am no longer young. And I think we err on the latter, right?
I think both of us think, like, well, if anything, it'd be a quarter life crisis. Turning 40. I think we're both just too stupid to realize that we should be freaking out.
No, I think. Look, I'm just like, I'm not gonna be one of those guys that thinks he's young
Yeah.
and actually
I mean-
become young.
I'm not going to think it. I'm going to get a whole new set of 25-year-old friends. I'm going to have frosted tips. They're all going to think I'm cool because I pay for the
I'm gonna
bar
start-
tab every night.
Tom, I'm gonna start doing.
Going to introduce my baby as just another friend of mine.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just on the lower end of the friend group.
Oh, yeah, this guy's really young. He's much younger than us, all of us.
I'm gonna do steroids and get muscles.
All right. You can't just do steroids. You have to work out.
We'll
too.
see about that. I think that might be a myth.
No, because I think
I'm not looking to look like Kumail Nanjiani, Tom.
right.
I'm looking to look like, who's that guy? The Situation. Did he work out too?
Yeah, he worked out. You can't just do steroids
we'll see.
not. If you just do steroids without working out, I don't know. The testosterone's got nowhere to go. You'll just be a rage monster. You'll be walking around angry all the time. That's good. You would like that?
No, what's different?
Yeah, but you would like take it out on
No. Okay.
property.
Here's
and,
the thing.
Uh-huh.
The honestly,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna take it out on property.
Because well,
Take out my oh, you didn't buy a Lamborghini. You beat the shit out of somebody's sprinkler.
yeah. Well, I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, Tim, and say you're not going to take it out on people.
Yeah,
Because
no.
no matter how hulking you became, I think you'd still be afraid of somebody hitting you back.
No, Tom. If I became a hulking strongman, and if I learned
you
how
just
to
become
fight,
a real bully.
I'd be the worst.
Oh, so now you're going to learn how to fight too?
yeah, that's part and
your
parcel,
other,
Tom. Yeah, of course.
Midlife crisis. You're
Yeah.
going to sign up at the karate dojo,
I mean, yeah, but not like the karate dojo, like one
like
that
the ninja dojo.
the Krav Maga or
Oh,
something.
okay,
right?
just like you're gonna learn a style of fighting that's just like very dirty, just meant to in actual life or death situations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna need if somebody, steals my parking spot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That to me,
You might need to choke him out
steroid using rage monster.
with
that's
frosted tips.
yeah, that's life and death for me.
I'm just trying to imagine a situation where this is happening, and you're just very happy because maybe the man you're choking to death calls you son or something because he actually thinks you're 25.
Yeah, be real.
And then maybe you say, all right, pal, you can live because you thought I was actually a young man.
Yeah, I'd spare his life. Now go tell the others I'm a young man and will always be a young man.
Tim, this week we're talking elevators because guess what?
Oh, I know. Anybody that follows you on Instagram.
Anybody that's on Instagram, I think it was trending.
Yeah, it was.
They were
Well, you
blasting it
promoted
out
it.
to
You
everyone.
paid to have it promoted.
That's my midlife crisis. I sunk a few $100s into promoting.
It was more than 100. I remember reading in the trades that it was the most anybody ever spent with Meta to promote.
Well, it's a good company. It was worth it, Tim. Money well spent.
It's almost like charity.
Yeah, if they offered a way to just donate money to them, I'd happily do it. It is funny. I saw I was listening to like a tech podcast or something, and they were pointing this out. How weird it is that everybody pretty quickly adopted Meta instead of Facebook,
Right.
but nobody did it with Google and Alphabet.
That's true.
But I feel like Alphabet is the parent company, and also Alphabet has more syllables than Google.
And also, Facebook, this is the dumbest conversation we've ever had, but Facebook has branded everything with Meta and the Meta
Yeah,
logo.
that's
Like when
true.
you
They've
open
made a
up
big-
Instagram, it's like Instagram by Meta. And
Right.
Google is just don't worry about this weird tax structure thing that we did to evade any kind of I don't know, regulation or
Yeah, where Facebook, it was such a blatant, oh boy, Facebook's not a good brand. Let's rebrand it. And I feel like everybody went, okay, I'll no longer say Facebook's a bad company. I will say Meta's a bad company. Why do you bring that up?
I don't know.
Because
Do you
of
wanna plug your
Instagram.
book?
Yeah. Oh, Tim. Man, I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the podcast, but for people that don't know, I have a series of books called Meta. And so many people after this happened were like, well, this is going to be great for you. And it's like, that's not how anything works. This is not going to be great for me. It's not going to bring a
the
bunch
worst
of...
company on earth took the name of my book and named their company after it.
Well, and even if
They gave you a pretty hefty payout, though,
no,
right?
they gave me absolutely nothing. And even if, and that's the thing too, people are also like, oh, they're going to give you money. It's like, that's not how trademarks work either, especially companies like that are that big.
Especially you didn't bother to trademark anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't think I would have to trademark it as a book, not
Yeah.
as a tech service or whatever. So it wouldn't matter.
Can I say one thing, Tom, about the song Happy Birthday?
Sure.
those old
Teachers?
school marms, right?
Uh-huh.
They were like, "Oh, we own the copyright for this," and like you couldn't sing "Happy Birthday" in TV or film or whatever.
Or even at TGI Fridays.
Yeah,
or
without
Applebee's.
paying these old biddies royalties.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then finally people were like, "No, enough of this," right? And
I don't think that's what happened. I think they found prior use and said this is in the public domain. It's not.
well, here's the thing: they should have never laid claim to this because you change it every time, unless they copyrighted
Oh, every name?
every name.
Yeah.
Then guess
No,
what?
But you can't take like a Rolling Stone song
You can.
and change one word in it and then claim, nope, this is a different song.
Tom
is-
can't always get what he wants.
I don't know why, but you can't always get what you want was the first one that came into my
It's
mind
a good
too.
song. It's the
It
best
is a
Rolling
good
Stone
song. But yeah,
It's not true. They say if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need.
Uh-huh.
That's not true for everybody.
well, they said sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
If you try sometimes, you just may find. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I think in the Rolling Stones experience, it is true. They got everything they ever wanted.
Yeah.
And that's why they have that song, God Gave Me Everything I Want.
Yeah. They often like to shout out God for giving them what they
for
want.
not being very, well, Tim, they like to talk about the devil, too.
They sure do.
The Rolling Stones, one of the world's biggest religious bands. But they don't take a side. Sometimes, hey, whoever can help them out in the moment, they're willing to listen.
Why are we talking about elevators this week, Tom?
We're talking about elevators, Tim, because I got stuck in a goddamn elevator this week.
Yeah. I didn't ask you about it. Normally I'd text
Yeah.
to be like, oh, I hope everything's all right. But I was like,
No, we
This is
can
great.
monetize this.
this is fodder.
Yeah.
This is going to freak out the squares, man. Tim and
Right.
Tom talking about getting stuck in an elevator.
Yeah, there are some people that have already turned this off because they're like, oh, I can't even imagine something so scary.
All right, Tom, lay it on me. Let's hear the deets.
All right. It was a couple of nights ago, Tim. I was taking my dog out for a walk, as I do.
On your way in or on your way out?
On my way in, thankfully.
Okay.
So my dog,
The dog
had
is-
already...
Emptied her bladder.
She's emptied her bladder.
We're talking about her. She's sitting here staring at the floor. You didn't do anything, man. Unless...
She has something to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think there was anything in it for her getting stuck in an elevator. It was also, my girlfriend was out. She had left maybe like 2 minutes before we did. She's in, I'm not going to give away too many details. She's in the witness protection program was what I was going to say, but I probably shouldn't mention that.
No. She's in a dance troupe.
She's in a dance troupe.
She's going to her hip-hop dance recital.
Right. And I didn't want to mention it because it's supposed to be a big surprise. A big surprise for me.
Oh, you knew about it?
Well, for my birthday, she's going to do a big hip hop dance for me.
Sweet.
A lot of b-boy stances. But
I'm going to learn some of those, Tom, for the 25-year-olds.
yeah.
Me and your girlfriend can dance for it. I can participate in your birthday dance.
All right. Yeah.
Now, Tom,
Well,
now we're on our way to having a flash mob.
yeah. Well, Tim, I should probably preface any of this with I don't even know if I'm going to have a birthday party. I think I will. I think things are like opened up enough to do that. I'd like to have everybody, I don't know, at a bar or something like
Yeah,
that,
I'm
like
not
an
gonna go to
outdoor
that.
bar. Well, you know what? If the alternative is you come and you bring a bunch of 25-year-olds that you claim are your new friends, I don't want that, Tim. I mean, well, at least if they were
you should
25,
want that.
I'm worried about you bringing like a bunch of 19-year-olds.
Oh yeah.
And you'd
Well,
be
they'll
like,
have
"Hey,
fake
can you
IDs.
buy some beers for them? Like they can't go up to the bar themselves." And I told them that I'd take care of them, but I'm kind of busy now.
Tom, I'm eager to go to your birthday party. I hope you have one. Friend of the show and sometime co-host Christine
Yeah.
recently had a birthday party.
Mhm.
She texted me ahead of time before she sent out the email invitation. She's like, "Hey, I know you and your wife have a new kid. What would we?
I know you and your wife are going through some stuff because of your impending midlife crisis.
No, and she's just like, "I know you have a new kid. she's met him.
Yeah.
Held them.
Right.
They're friends.
I wouldn't go that far.
She,
I wouldn't put words in your son's mouth.
and she's like, I want you guys both to come. What would be the best time? And like, you can bring him. Like, what would be the best
I want
time?
you both to come. Leave the baby.
No. So she asked me, and she's like, because I want to plan this in a way, because you guys are two of my best friends,
Right.
3 of my best friends, right? And she was like, so would early afternoon, like out in the backyard of a bar work, or
Right,
would
would
like
you feel?
early evening? And I was like, perfect time would be early afternoon or late afternoon. Backyard of a bar, we're all outside. We can bring the baby. We'd probably only
Come
stay
and
for
go,
like a couple of hours, but like it'll be fine. And she's like, great, awesome. Cut to a day later. The invitation for her party is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
It's at her apartment
At night.
late at night with no kids allowed. Christine, why'd you text me?
Oh, Tim, is this podcast just going to become a way for you to passive aggressively?
No, you'll
question
cut that
your
part
friends?
out, right?
I'm not cutting anything out, Tim.
You got stuck in an elevator.
I got stuck in an elevator. So it's coming back up on the elevator. And me and my dog had gone outside. The dog had relieved herself. It was her last time out for the night. So it's like, she knows it's like a ritual. Like,
What time of night was this?
Like 7:38.
Okay.
And she knows, like, sometimes she doesn't even really have to do that much, but she knows, like, okay, this is the last time we come back inside. My harness comes off for the night. Great. I'm not dragged outside.
Checks out. She's harnessless right now.
Yeah.
It's 9:30. It's 9:30. Jeez, we gotta wrap this up.
We haven't even talked about elevators yet. We get in the elevator, press the door closed, press the button, everything's normal for a second, and then the elevator starts going up and then drops down.
Ooh, how
Like,
severe?
Not very severe, but like enough to jostle, enough that the dog was like, "What the hell?" Like probably about, I don't know, maybe like a foot. So
Okay.
like more higher than my dog. I have a Dachshund, so she's pretty short.
Did the cable snap?
I don't know if the cable snapped. I'm not sure if that's what happened. I have been having ice cream more lately, though, so that might be to explain. So it happens, and the lights flicker for a second, like the electricity
eerie,
flickers.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on. Press the buttons. None of the buttons are working. Press,
no.
Door open, nothing. First floor, nothing. My floor, nothing. And not even like, oh, it's trying. Because sometimes I feel like I've been in elevators where something weird's happened and I should have gotten out of the elevator. But then I've pressed a button and things have reset themselves and it works. But that didn't happen this time.
Right. You
So-
you tried all the combinations.
Yeah, so I'm giving it like a couple of minutes.
What are you doing? What do you mean giving it a couple minutes?
That maybe
What do you expect will happen?
that maybe it will like settle back to where it was and reset itself, and or maybe it's still trying to go up, but it can't. But eventually, it's gonna stop and just open the doors and let me out.
Right.
None of that's happening. So finally, I press the button that says "Call for help."
Right.
And a lady picks up in that little speaker, and she's like, "Hello."
She's okay.
I'm like, "I'm stuck in the elevator," and she's like, "What?" And I go, "I'm stuck in the elevator," and then she hangs up.
That the time we had our elevator thing over 10 years ago,
Yeah, we got stuck in an elevator once.
we got stuck on a elevator, Tom.
Yeah, because the elevator we were in was going crazy.
It was going up 10 floors and then dropping 3 floors. It was the freaking Tower of Terror we were in.
It was very scary.
I thought we were gonna die.
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna die, but I was like, I was very scared that it was gonna take us up to, I think maybe that was like a 20-story building.
Yeah.
That it was eventually gonna take us all the way up and just drop us.
Yeah.
Because it took us up and dropped us.
We kept
a
our
few
cool.
times. I think we kept our cool because we were paralyzed with fear.
Yeah.
Like I was so scared.
But I remember afterwards, we each, like when we finally got off that, like we both turned to each other and were just like, that was terrifying, right?
Yeah.
And like, but like you, like I saw you and you saw me and we both said like, you didn't seem like you were concerned and that's why I didn't start like freaking out.
Yeah.
And you were like, the same thing. Look,
I find
cool cucumbers.
I find that I'm usually that way in those situations where there's like I don't have control, but another person doesn't have control either. So it's like, well, freaking out's not going to stop somebody from shaking this elevator.
Yeah.
So I may as well just try and remain calm. And I did that this time. I remained calm. I pressed the button again. And I was like, it was a different person, I think. And I said, I'm stuck in the elevator.
Oh, wait, when we were on the elevator,
yeah,
we called somebody, and they couldn't have been more dismissive. They were like, all right, I don't know. What do you want me to do? And then they hung up on us.
Yeah. I don't know where that calls. It's not 911.
No.
It's some...
Stupid me thinks that there's in the building, there's somebody there that's just
24/7 just ready to spring into action.
Yeah. Be an expensive. That'd be a great job.
Except when duty calls.
Yeah, but then what do? You
I don't know if it would be a great job. I mean,
you
that's
sit
like
there and you read a book all day.
That's like being like a night security guard at a museum or
for
something.
$175,000 a year.
Oh,
dog?
well, you didn't tell me what the salary was.
Yeah,
and for that.
Primo benefits.
Right, yeah. We could do
Come work in my building, Tom. I'm hiring.
And we could do the podcast during work hours.
Well, that's frowned upon.
But who's going to know?
What if we got what if we got interrupted?
Yeah. Well, then we would make it for a very excited episode.
Caught in the fucking elevator with this dumb dog.
We'd have to... Oh, don't call my dog dumb.
No, this is another guy.
We would have like a portable rig we could bring with us. The podcast on the way, Tim, and that would be ratings gold.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, people would be like, "Oh,
featured on the front page of Apple Podcasts."
Yeah. What if a lady had a baby in the elevator and we
had to?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to help. I wouldn't know what to do.
We heard it from the other side of the elevator door that we didn't know how to open or anything.
This would be like for kids listening to podcasts these days. It would be like when they had the exorcism on 2020. They'd remember it forever.
It would be just like that for kids listening to podcasts these days. Tim, you're going to ingratiate yourself in with these 25-year-olds. No problem.
They all watch 2020. They're like Barbara Walters and Hugh Downs.
And I'm Hugh Downs. You're gonna have your frosted tips. You're gonna be roided out. You're gonna be talking about the exorcism on 2020 and how it's just like the podcast that kids listen to nowadays.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, you're speaking my language."
Yeah, you know what? I didn't think you were 25 for a minute, but now I'm sure you are.
Hugh Downs, you say? Yeah, go on.
So I press the button again, get a different person. I had to crouch down they couldn't hear me clearly.
Because you're so tall.
No, because it's like the shittiest little speaker and it's about 2 feet off the ground.
Should have the dog talk.
I wish. But this person, at least when they couldn't hear me, they said, "I can't hear you," instead of just hanging up.
Right.
I said, "Hi, I'm stuck in an elevator." And they were like, where are you? And I was like,
what are you, an idiot?
Oh, yeah, bleep that out. I didn't give out my address. So
I was going to try to trick you into saying it, but I didn't even need to.
Well, and now I'm thinking this lady on the elevator knows where I live. So I give her my address, and she
if I didn't catch it, if I didn't say anything, you would have just kept talking.
Yeah,
You're editing
probably.
this week. You would have thought nothing of it.
Well, you know what? I dare anybody to try and come find me because the elevator's here. You're taking your life in your own hands. That's the best deterrent I could give. An even better deterrent than not giving out my address on the podcast, just telling them how dangerous the elevators are. So so she's like, "Okay, I'll call the super," and hangs up. And I'm like, "Well, I could call the super, but fine, whatever."
No.
So I give it like
I hope it's not Joe Pesci.
Oh boy. Oh, that would be the last thing I'd need.
Yeah.
No, so I give it 10 minutes and then I'm like, all right, this is ridiculous. So I call the super. Super has clearly not heard about this. So I'm very glad that I did. I'm glad I have my cell phone because sometimes when I walk the dog, especially at night, I don't bring my phone.
Right.
Because I'm in and out. It's fine. It's no problem. I don't need my phone on me. It's the 5 minutes a day where I can breathe and be like, all right, I don't have my phone on me. So thankfully,
I'll be surfing adult websites
while my dog's pooping. Yeah.
Right.
So luckily I did have my phone on me because apparently they'll either, if you press that button, they'll either hang up on you or they'll say they called your super. But again, I'm thinking,
telling you, it's a great job to
I
have.
don't, but I don't even know who this was that I was
I
talking
know,
to.
and they're getting paid.
I know.
Both those people got paid.
And they asked my address and they're like, okay, we'll call your super. And meanwhile, they're doing the jerk off motion to the
Yeah.
guy sitting next to them.
Yeah.
They don't know how to call my super. They don't. I
I
don't.
don't care about you.
Yeah, they don't care about
Why
me.
would they?
They got their money for the elevator decades ago.
Yeah.
And now they're probably mad that they've got to pay somebody to sit there.
They built and sold the elevator to your
To
building?
the building, yeah.
Not those
Whoever
people on the
the ele-
phone.
Who do you think I was talking to on the phone then?
The guy that installed the elevator? I don't think so,
Not the
Doug.
guy, but the company that
Oh,
installed the
man,
elevator.
I have no idea. I don't know if that goes to 911.
I'm
I don't
telling you,
think-
it doesn't go to 911. So then who do you think it goes to?
I have no idea. I would think maybe the management office for your building.
No, because somebody's not there 24 hours a day.
So you think there's an it's from the Otis Corporation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tim, you were pitching the idea of working this job.
Yeah, no, I think every building with an elevator should have somebody there.
Well, Tim, I also don't like you giving out the name of the elevator company on this podcast. So, back to the elevator, being stuck in the elevator. I call and he's like, I called my super and he says, okay, I'll send one of the guys over, which is what he always says about everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, who are these guys? But then the guys show up. I'm like,
Wait.
oh, that guy.
So in the past, he said he'd send guys over and just never happened.
No, guys come over.
Okay, so
But-
those are probably the guys.
Yeah, I guess it's the guys.
And it was the same guy that showed up for the elevator?
In this case, yeah, it was one of the guys that I had
All right.
previously
So he's
been
got
introduced
guys.
to me.
He's
got
sending guys.
He sent a guy.
Shady guys?
No, not shady
Okay.
guys. Good guys, I think.
Hmm.
The super is a little shady, but the guys, they're all right.
All right.
But the super, actually, the super's.
It's a little unusual for upstanding guys to be working for a shady boss.
He's not shady. I think he's just like doesn't like his job very much.
Hey, who among us?
Because I
like
remember
my job.
this super in New York. This isn't a thing everywhere, but in New York, like when you rent an apartment, it comes with a refrigerator.
Right.
And my refrigerator stopped working, and I called the super, and he came to replace the refrigerator. And as he's replacing the refrigerator, he goes, "This refrigerator is just going to break too." It's like, what? He goes, "Yeah, they're really cheap, crappy refrigerators that they buy here. It's just going to break." I'm like, well, why are you telling me this? I
He's just
want
a
one that
super.
doesn't break.
Well, he doesn't have
He
the
doesn't have
power
that
of
power.
the purse.
Yeah, but he should just keep. I would
Purse
just,
strings.
all he did was make me mad. And the refrigerator, thankfully, hasn't broken yet.
Yeah.
But so
I'll
anyway,
see to it. I'll break your toilet and your refrigerator one day.
Tim, I know how you think you're gonna break my refrigerator. You're gonna lock yourself in the fridge, and then I'm gonna have to rescue you out of there. Yeah, come out of there. Oh, thank you. I thought I was dying.
I saw it on an episode of Punky Brewster. Oh no, this is not gonna reflect.
Tim, you
well,
can't
geez.
bring that up. Don't bring up episodes about Punky Brewster in front of your 25-year-old new friends.
Okay,
They're gonna see right through that.
it's fair. That's a good tip. I appreciate that.
But if you do say something like that by accident, you can catch yourself by saying, "Yeah, it's a reboot of an old show. I got
Well,
the
they
scripts."
They did reboot Punky Brewster.
Even that, I think, was a while ago, though, right?
Yeah, I think it was like when these 25-year-olds were in middle school. But
Right.
yeah,
So the guy comes, and he's having a hell of a time opening the door. He can't get it open.
does he have experience with elevators? Do you think?
Yeah, or at least with these elevators.
So where are you? Where are you?
I'm on the first floor.
Okay, so it
Although,
went right back down to where you started.
Yeah, it only got up like a foot and then just dropped back down.
Okay.
But even that, I was confused because sometimes he would be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go upstairs and try, or I'm gonna go downstairs and try." So for a minute, I was like, am I in the basement? Did it drop all the way to the basement?
Yeah.
Am I on the second floor? Did it get higher than I thought? The thing's showing floor one on the little display. But he got the door open like a little bit, and then he's like, can you help? So I'm stupid me. I'm like, okay. I put my fingers in, and like there's barely enough room for my fingers, and then I can like feel it closing and like rip my fingers out.
Well,
Like,
you should have fought it.
no.
You
There
should-
wasn't enough leverage, and it was also like, what am I doing? Like, I almost got 8 of my fingers crushed.
Yeah.
I'm not putting my fingers in any of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you're having trouble, okay, keep trying, but I'm not putting my fingers in any of these things. But then later he got the inside door open, but not the outside door. And he's like, can you hold the inside door? I'm like, so I held it with my foot. But
Right.
meanwhile, I've got the dog, and the dog just wants to get out.
I know. I mean, so do you.
But the dog doesn't understand. The dog thinks
You should just tell the
one.
dog you live there now.
Well, I think the dog's already confused that I live in an apartment building, and I think the dog thinks like all the other apartments are just rooms we'd never go in. Because she's like always trying to be like, hey,
Rylander's
let's
rich. He's a real muckety muck.
let's check out these other rooms. Let's hang out with these other people. But
But you don't. You're just like, no, we don't talk to our neighbors. We
Yeah.
don't acknowledge that we have
don't
neighbors.
acknowledge. Well, she did that today. I was in the elevator and there was a delivery guy. And she just stood and stared at the delivery guy the whole elevator ride until he waved at her. And I might be like, the dog doesn't know what waving is.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she does. It's an acknowledgement. If you're being
Yeah.
stared at by any creature,
Yeah.
at some point you're gonna be like, I gotta do something.
I
here.
gotta do something. Well, he should have given the dog a little bit of what he was delivering. I think that's what the dog was mostly interested
Oh,
in.
yeah.
It was like a food delivery. But so anyway, he finally he puts a. So have you ever noticed? Here's we can get into more general elevator talk here now. Have you ever noticed the hole in the elevator door when you're looking at an elevator from the outside?
No.
So pay attention next time you go in an elevator, which will be twice more tonight by my count.
No, I'm not. I'm not using the elevator in your.
It goes.
Tom, can I tell you something?
Uh huh.
Last week,
Yeah.
Thursday,
Uh huh.
when I came to record here,
Yeah.
did you use the elevator on the left when you walked in?
Yes, that's the one I got stuck in.
That like there was some. I took the stairs last week, and
Uh-huh.
obviously I took them again this week.
Yeah.
But there's something about it. Something was weird about it, and I was like, taking the stairs.
That's the worst thing about these elevators is that they start acting weird, and you should know better, but then eventually something bad happens, like getting stuck in it.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm not freaking.
Because that elevator has been acting weird for a few days, and there haven't been, even after I got stuck, there were no elevator repair people that came or anything like that I noticed.
Right.
So I don't think anything got fixed, whatever the problem was.
Tom, I'm Googling elevator doors here.
Uh-huh.
I don't see a hole in any of them.
Yeah, there's a hole in these. The hole, Tim, is there's
Like in the middle of the doors? Like where the doors meet?
No, it's kind of like up a little bit.
Oh, okay. On one side.
Yeah,
on one
yeah.
of the doors.
Yes.
Okay. I
So-
thought there was like, when the doors close,
Mhm.
I thought there's just like
Oh no,
where they
no.
meet. You were
No,
saying
no,
there's
it's
a
just
little
like a little hole. It's maybe like big enough to stick a pen in.
hole. Okay.
But there's a
Classic
tool.
pen hole.
Yeah, there's a tool that they stick in.
A
'Cause
pen?
No, because the guy stuck the tool in, and it's like a tool that it's straight, but then I guess like you push a thing and part of it goes down,
Oh,
so
that's
it's like
cool.
a hook, and you can use that to hook a mechanism in there to open the door. Because he put that in, and he was having like a hell of a time, and that I did help him with. Where finally I was
Well,
like,
you're like, hey, I'm a master at the claw machine. Maybe I can help you. Hook
Well, no,
this
it's
thing."
like I could see what you're trying to do. You're trying to hook this on this part here, but you can't see it. So you're trying to feel it.
Ah.
And I'm like, hold on a second. I see what you're doing. Hold on, I'll do it. And I
Wait.
like clipped it.
Oh, okay. So you just could have pulled that thing the whole time. Once he got the interior door open. Okay.
Which I don't know why he was like, stick your hand in the elevator door, but didn't tell me like, hey, you see that bar? Just like push that bar up,
Right.
and the thing will open. So then it opened, and luckily it wasn't. It was like a little bit higher, maybe like 3 inches higher than where it should be. So it wasn't a big deal to get, because I thought like, I thought if this thing's like stuck between floors, I was mostly just worried about getting my dog out.
Chopped in half because she's so
Well,
long. She's a freaking.
She's a wiener dog. So
yeah.
yeah, she's got a lot more, it takes her a few seconds to get out of an
Yeah.
elevator before the back half catches
Did you
up.
pick her up when you brought her out?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
I didn't have to. That was why I didn't.
Tom, what if it
She doesn't like.
dropped and then
No, because
now you got to have a wiener dog?
No, because she got out of the elevator much quicker than I did.
Right.
Like the door opened and she just like burst out the door.
haven't seen her since.
Yeah.
She's like, this is my chance. This is the last fucking straw.
So it was about 40
Living with this guy.
40 minutes altogether I was stuck in the
Yikes.
elevator.
Did you have to pee at all?
No, thankfully, because I've learned that lesson not the hard way, but there have been times where Ginger, don't eat that. You're just eating like a random. I don't even know what that is.
It looks like a
leaf?
dust bunny.
Don't eat anything in here. There's no food in here. Don't lick the closet for no reason. But
She's doing great. She's a little shell shocked.
yeah. So it was about 40 minutes all together that I was stuck in there. Luckily, I was going to say I've learned sometimes when I take the dog out, I'm like, oh, I have to pee too. I'll just do it afterward. That's always when she takes like 20 minutes
Right.
to go to the bathroom. So I pee before I go. So luckily that wasn't an issue. There were only really 2 issues. I'm not too claustrophobic, although I was more getting mad because it was like, oh, I'm trapped. I can't leave here.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But I get claustrophobic if I'm like stuck, like physically stuck.
Oh yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah.
You know what? Agoraphobia is actually, people think it's like fear of going outside,
Yeah.
but I think what it's really defined as is fear of being somewhere where help cannot reach you.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, I have that.
I think that's what the stuck in the elevator thing is. Like, let's say like you had an asthma attack in the elevator,
and
it's
nobody
like,
can get to
nobody
me.
can get.
You
to
know
me.
what? I didn't. I'm actually a little surprised that I didn't have that kind of issue. It was more that I was like mad.
I mean,
that
you're
if-
always mad.
That I felt like my time.
We should work on that.
My time was being stolen from me.
This is 20 minutes on like
40
a Tuesday
minutes.
night.
40 minutes. Because it was like I don't want to be in here anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not being.
I want to dick around on my phone while Netflix trailers play in the background
Yeah.
while I ostensibly
Well,
am
so-
choosing what to watch now.
So that was actually the interesting thing because
my girlfriend was out. I was going to watch pornography.
exactly, Tim. I'd already paid for it and everything. The clock was ticking. A bunch of people were like, "Oh, so did you just like go on your phone?" But I didn't. Like the whole time, I took a picture.
Yeah.
But otherwise, and I like text my girlfriend like, "You're not gonna believe this," and I talked to
Come
her.
help. Can you pry these doors open?
But I didn't. I don't know. I wasn't bored at all. Like,
Right.
because I think the whole time I was just like, nope. Every time I heard the door opening, like the door to my building, I was like, okay, maybe this is him. One of the most frustrating.
Did you
things-
ever ring the
Yeah,
the
I rang
alarm?
the thing a couple of times, but then I thought that I've been in my elevator and heard the alarm ringing and thought like, well, that sucks. Like, but what am I
Yeah,
gonna
but
do?
other people are good.
No, because it's like, well, what am I gonna do? Press the button. You know,
There are some helpful people.
they're not going to be able to open the door. They don't have the
call
special
super.
tool. I called the super. It's fine.
I don't know.
Well, now I know if I hear it again, I'll yell into the elevator door hole, call the super.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. You do it.
Right. Because it'll make somebody's
I'm
day.
out of minutes.
Tom.
my phone.
My phone
Mhm.
doesn't work in my elevator.
Oh,
in my building.
yeah, mine sometimes doesn't. So I was glad that it did work in this particular case. So yeah, I was mad being
You're
stuck in there.
saying that button calls the elevator company? I just don't believe it.
Then who would it call?
I don't know. 311?
No,
No,
the information
that
number.
that doesn't sound right.
No,
either.
I think it calls. I mean, you called them out, Tim. Otis Elevators. They make almost all the elevators in New York City. It's a New York City company. It started in New York City in the 1800s.
Yeah, Elisha Otis.
Yeah, but they make like 85% of the elevators in the world. So I imagine that they have a central office with like a database that has addresses and supers, and that's just who it calls if somebody gets stuck in an elevator.
On Quora.com, does the emergency
Now,
call
is
button-
Quora, that's the queue you're always talking about
Yeah.
with all the answers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what everybody thinks. Does the emergency call button on the elevators actually work? Who do they contact, and how do they know where to find you? Depends on what code the elevator was built under. Blah blah blah. You talk to the person in some sort of dispatch center. Think of a private 911 center.
Yeah. But it's probably...
These people will take your information and pass it on to either an elevator company
Mhm. Or the
to
super.
dispatch or fire and medical services.
So it's like a third-party company.
Right.
I mean, I think Otis Elevators is missing a trick here. There's some revenue there if they just ran all this in-house.
Why would they run it in-house? They
Why
walk
not?
away. They install the elevator and they get out of Dodge.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not like, oh, let's insert ourselves
I
into
don't
the
think they
situation.
even repair the elevators. Now I think
No,
about
yeah.
it. It's not Otis men that come to repair the elevators.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, beyond the claustrophobia thing, the other things that sucked were it got really hot in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there
You run
was
hot in general.
Yeah, and there wasn't a lot of air, it felt like.
Right.
And I don't know if that's just because it was hot and like
I think you were also starting to panic a little bit.
I wasn't panicking, but I was upset. And yeah, I get hot when I get upset.
Did you ever try to do the Die Hard thing? Like you crawl
climb
up?
onto the top?
Yeah.
No, apparently all those first off, it's rare that elevators have a hatch up top.
Does yours though?
If it does, it's like underneath like a drop ceiling type thing.
Should have checked.
But they're also locked from the outside.
Well, then why are they there?
Because it's
so you
for
can
like
get
an
in.
elevator repairman, not
Right.
for a civilian stuck in an elevator
What
to
would
climb
you
up
have
on
done?
top.
What would you have done if you suspected that you were running out of air in there? Which is something that is it's not airtight.
I don't
It would
think
not have happened.
I don't think I would have. I think I
Would you have
just-
tried to punch through the ceiling?
No, because the ceiling's steel. I wouldn't be able to like get through anything. But there definitely was less air as I was breathing. Like I know fresh air is coming in, but it was still like just
Not at the
stagnant.
same rate that
Yeah,
you're
and
eating
that
it up.
me and my dog are breathing
Your
at.
dog barely breathes.
She was great. Let me first off say
Hey,
that
let's hear it for Ginger, everybody.
because I thought
And what's Ginger's address?
I thought if people want to send her something, people want to send her some treats. She got a lot of treats when we got home.
Yeah.
Because
Why? Because she sat on the floor for 40 minutes?
yeah, because she normally she doesn't like being in a confined space,
Yeah.
and she doesn't like differences in
I
her
got news for
routine.
you. Your apartment's not that big. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is such
Well,
a...
but she likes being comfortable, and she
Yeah.
had to just like lay on the floor.
You didn't hold her at all?
She doesn't like that either.
She likes it when I hold her.
No, she doesn't.
Come here, Ginger.
She was just surprisingly chill about the whole thing, which was nice. Especially at night when she's like, I just want to get back home. I just want to be
Yeah.
in my bed and not have to be dragged outside to.
Dog with a bed. Never thought I'd see the day.
But here's one of my problems. When it was like a very frustrating thing because I immediately want somebody to like vent my anger at.
Right.
But I'm not going to do that to the guy that helped me out.
I know.
'Cause
You should think about that whenever a service employee.
Because when I got out, I just said thank you, but I
Did you
didn't.
tip him?
No, I didn't tip him for getting me out of the elevator I was trapped in.
Yeah.
I
It's for saving your whole night.
I mean, I did think about that. I did think for a second, like, should I tip this guy?
Tom, here's the thing.
Uh,
Let's just start.
He
carrying
was there
around
with his
$5
son, by the
bills.
way.
A bunch of $5 bills.
yeah,
not
but
a lot.
A $5 tip for saving my life?
Yeah. Well, so all right, $1,000.
I think it. But then it's going to be in this guy's best interest.
A
To
$5's
rig,
nice. You can just,
He's
it's a
gonna
nice
rig the
gesture. It doesn't
elevator.
really mean much.
He's going to rig the elevator so he can get more tips. Then
Right. But then, all right, then he's got a hero complex.
he was there. He brought like his son, but
How old?
maybe like 10 or 11.
Okay.
Where young enough that
Wearing a beanie with a propeller on it? Or
no, but young
Sorry.
enough that I thought it was a woman with him.
Okay. Ooh, and you were like, he brought a date to me getting stuck in an
No.
elevator.
Well, I would thought like he brought a date who was asking a bunch of dumb questions this whole time. But yeah, then the son was just like, after we got out of the elevator, I think just bemused that I had a wiener dog. Because he was just kind of like looking at us with like a big smile on his face. That was the other thing. So Ginger was fine the whole time, except when like the doors were shaking.
Right.
That's when she was like, I don't know what's happening. I don't like this. I want out. And she would start whimpering. And the guy, I think, thought it was me whimpering. Because he was
You
like, it's
didn't-
okay. I'm going to get you out.
You didn't make a joke about it like that, or just be like, hey, that's my dog.
I was
Tommy.
not in a joking mood, and I didn't know
Tom,
if I
when-
should
see,
mention.
this is the thing.
I
Here's
have
the
a
thing
do-
with you. And look,
What?
I'm a
that
friend.
when bad things happen to me, I'm not in a good mood.
no, I'm a friend. So take this in the spirit in which
Kind
it's
of a friend,
intended.
more a coworker.
Yeah, something bad was happening to
Uh-huh.
you, but somebody was there. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
You were being robbed of your time. Guess
Uh-huh.
what, Tom? Your time isn't that fucking valuable.
I know. I'm doing this.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing this. The man's trying to help you,
Mm-hmm.
and like you can't like try to just be like lighthearted and just be like, look, this is all gonna be over in a couple minutes. The guy is helping me get out. He probably got called out of bed or whatever.
Nah,
Right.
it was like 7:30.
I don't know. Some
8
people have
o'clock.
weird sleep schedules.
No, because
Well, he was doing something that he had to bring his kid, right?
Yeah,
Like so,
uh-huh.
like it's just like
Nah, I think it was like his kid wanted to tag along.
no.
It seemed
that
like that
never
kind of a
happens.
thing because the kid was asking a bunch of questions.
No, I think what I'm saying is like this
Mhm.
guy, like if he didn't have to come help you,
Yeah.
he probably would have been doing exactly what you wanted to be doing, which was just like looking at his phone and sitting on sitting on the couch watching
You think
TV.
I want to look at this guy's phone, Tim? How do I even know what apps he has?
I mean, wouldn't that be half the fun?
Yeah, it would be. See what his social
Yeah,
media looks like.
Exactly. Or just be like, what other
No,
apps?
because I was a little bit mad at this point that he told me to try pulling the elevator, and I thought my fingers were about to get
Well,
chopped
you could have
off.
just said no.
Yeah,
Tom, you
but I
need,
didn't.
You need to just.
I thought it was
stick
going to
up for
be
yourself.
easy to open it,
Yeah. And
but it wasn't. And then I
did
didn't
it
really.
slam shut?
No,
So it started to. You got it. It was fine.
it's hard to
Tom,
explain
you're-
how it was, but it was
I know,
scary.
but you're being dramatic.
I'm not being dramatic.
Tom,
I'm just
you're
saying,
being hysterical.
I didn't yell
you're
at this
embarrassing
man.
yourself.
I said thank you. I didn't tip him because that's not a situation where somebody needs to
That's
be tipped.
fine. You don't have to tip him, and I know that you're.
But I also didn't joke around with him because I didn't want to joke around. I just wanted to be out of the elevator. I also thought like it was going to be the type of thing where he'd be able to just stick the tool in and immediately open the elevator
Yeah,
door.
but guess what? You
I didn't
didn't.
want to establish a rapport.
Why not? You don't want to be nice to somebody because he's a service employee there to serve you.
He
and
was
he's not.
going
You have
up
to
and
put
down.
him in his place.
He wasn't serving me. He was trying to get me out of the death trap
Yeah. What? I mean, this man
that
was
he
saving.
probably built.
You think this was Otis himself?
One of his guys. So I got out, and I did have to take my inhaler after I got home because I was having like
Yeah, you were
a little
worked
trouble.
up.
It was honestly more just like breathing carbon dioxide for so long.
No, I think you were worked up. Yeah, I think it was actually climbing the 2 flights of stairs.
Well, that
afterwards.
certainly didn't help Tim. Yeah, I don't know. I've got a bunch of facts about elevators.
Yeah,
but,
no. This episode's
I've
called
got
Tom
more-
Gets Stuck in
But
an
I've
Elevator.
got more feelings about elevators than I do facts about elevators.
All right. I mean, I have a lot of elevator. Like, this, oddly, I think we both did a lot of research for.
Right, and it just didn't come
I have a
up.
list of cool elevators. I was going to tell you about the elevator at the Louvre, in the St. Louis Arch, in the Luxor, Las Vegas. It's going to talk about the origin of elevator music, but we don't have any time for this.
Well, elevator music I read, it was in the 1920s because people were uncomfortable in elevators.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, when you think about it, when,
Yeah.
like, the first modern elevator, they've been around for centuries.
Yeah.
Since, they were animal-powered in the past.
And people powered. There were Roman Colosseum had elevators.
Exactly.
And
It's
they
like
would just
200 slaves or something had to, like,
Yank the elevators.
In 1743,
Mm-hmm.
a man-powered personal elevator was built for King Louis the 15th. It connected his apartment in Versailles with that of his mistress, whose quarters were one floor above his.
Oh, okay. So that's not that hard to pull.
I mean,
it up
also,
one
you're
floor.
like, at that point, it's all just like mistress in quotes, right? Because you're the king,
Right.
and she lives 15 feet
Yeah.
above you. Like, it's fine. Just like have, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's fun to have a man-powered elevator to get to her.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess she can't call. There's no phones, but I don't know. She like sends a letter saying, "Come up to my apartment and make love to me." And he's like, "I'll have my men pull the elevator."
I don't know that, like, she's initiating anything.
Yeah, probably. She's the mistress. She's like, "Well, I gotta stay in this guy's good graces."
Yeah. So the modern elevator, right, early 20th century, when like people are like, oh, electricity is widespread, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like they're like, go in this box, and we're gonna bring you like you were freaking out,
Yeah.
and it's 100 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So people always
Well, my elevator doesn't have any elevator music. I think that's mostly why I was
crap
freaking
all
out.
over elevator music. It's so boring. It's like, no, it's meant to be calming.
Yeah, it's meant to be relaxing. That's
Yeah.
why it doesn't have words and stuff. Also, I feel like very few elevators nowadays have elevator music.
Yeah, they mostly, the ones that have anything just have like screens with like really quick ads on them.
Yeah.
You know those elevators in Midtown?
Yeah, those things are
Let's
awful.
never go to Midtown.
I haven't in a couple of years now,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, a couple of years of not going to Midtown has really made me realize that, like, unless you're going to MSG to see Billy Joel play.
They apparently no one's died from a snap cable in a modern elevator.
Yeah, thanks to Otis.
But I don't know what they consider a modern elevator. But then I was reading this. Did you read about this in 2018 at the John Hancock Center in Chicago?
No.
There was an elevator that fell from the 95th floor to the 11th floor.
Yikes.
84 floors. But that they're like, well, the safety chain was tampered with. Maintenance workers turned it off while they were repairing it, and they forgot to turn it back on again. Nobody died.
Right.
But they're like, well, that one doesn't count. It's like, that one does count because
Yeah, it's like there's a safety thing, but it didn't work. It's like, well,
there was a safety thing, but somebody turned it off, and the elevator still works with that turned off. Like, then that's not a safety thing.
Yeah.
That's not a. So I don't know. Actually, I'm curious. I watched like a few things about it and couldn't find out exactly what safety mechanism did trip to make
Right.
that happen, because there are a bunch, including pistons at the bottom of elevators, like hydraulic, which are going to be bumpy as heck if you hit that.
Yeah, but you have a rough landing.
But it's hopefully going to prevent you from being killed. I didn't know that the Tower of Terror in
Disney's Hollywood Studios, formerly Disney MGM Studios.
Yeah, actually not the Tower of Terror. I think it's a different ride. No, it is the Tower of Terror.
Yeah, because that's about an elevator going haywire.
But when
A
you're
helevator, if you will.
when you're like the elevator that I forget.
Tom,
it was
Just commit. No matter
I think
if
it
you're
was- I
wrong,
think it
you're
was
wrong.
The Tower of Terror, that because it's sealed in, even if everything failed, the air pressure wouldn't allow you, because it's sealed. The elevator falls and it's compressing that air.
You'd probably bounce back up.
No, it wouldn't bounce back up, but it would just slow down
Right.
in the last couple of floors. Which is,
I
which
like
I'm
that ride.
Oh, I love that ride. But seal off all the elevators so that happens no matter where you are.
Yeah, but then you get stuck in the elevator. Guess what? You're gonna freaking suffocate.
It's not. Oh yeah, I guess maybe if it's sealed, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's your biggest fear.
right, and if you punch open the elevator, like I need air, and you don't know, you're punching it into a vacuum.
Yeah, I'm less afraid of the elevator falling
Mm-hmm.
than I am of the, or the elevator falling when I'm getting out and chopping
right,
me
and
in
chopping
half.
you in half, because
Yeah.
that does happen
That
sometimes.
happened a few years ago.
Mhm.
Now, kind of probably like over a dozen years ago.
Yeah.
But like in New York,
Yeah,
in like
somebody
Midtown,
got
in
decapitated.
fucking Midtown. Oh,
Yeah.
God damn it, Midtown. But like terrible and
Yeah,
tragic
yeah.
and awful. And it was just like somebody walking out of an elevator, and then the elevator drops.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's way scarier, I think.
yeah.
I'm very afraid of getting cut in half by an elevator.
I'm afraid of getting cut in half by anything.
That's true. The Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building,
Yeah.
also has the world's fastest elevator.
Yeah, I've been looking up fast elevators. It's like it goes 76 kilometers an hour.
It goes
Who gives
about
a shit?
40 miles an hour.
Yeah, who cares?
But I thought what I thought was interesting is that that's only on the way up. On the way down, it only goes 20 miles an hour because your ears, like the equilibrium can't happen quickly enough.
Right.
The depressurization.
like you'd get the bends or something.
I think it would probably just be like uncomfortable and give you a headache
Yeah.
if it went faster.
Tom, you ever see this elevator in the St. Louis Arch?
Yeah, it goes like up and around. I would like to go in that elevator.
Yeah, but
Oh
it's,
boy, if I got stuck at the
claustrophobia,
top though,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, then what the hell are they going to do? How are they going to get you down from there?
Tom, I got a lot of facts from elevatorhistory.net.
Well, they're yeah, I bet they're in Otis's pocket.
Yeah, guess what?
Every elevator is safe.
Elevators are statistically the safest way to travel. First of all, we're calling this traveling.
Yeah, come on.
And then it says this, which I believe.
Oh, I'm going on vacation to Florida. How are you getting there? Oh, you're gonna take an elevator. It's the safest way to travel.
I mean, maybe you're taking Willy Wonka's Great Glass elevator.
Well, and then if you're saying an elevator is a way to travel, then what makes an elevator different than a train?
Exactly. Elevators are 20 times safer than escalators, which is true.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm saying.
I almost got my leg ripped off by an escalator once.
Me too.
Yeah.
When you were a kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
A shoelace got caught.
Me
in it.
too.
Yeah.
My dad had to yank me.
My dad had to yank me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't they make after all these years? Because like you hear like escalators have been around for like hundreds of years.
You ever go
Why
to-
can't they make them less dangerous?
You ever go to the big Macy's in the city? It's still got wooden escalators.
That seems a lot safer
Yeah.
because it's not going to chew you up with their metal teeth.
Yeah, it's going to chew you up with wooden teeth.
No, because like there's not enough power there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
It feels like, all of it feels like a bowling alley. Kind
yeah, I like it though. It's cool.
Yeah, and the wood
like
just kind of like
candlepin bowling or
clacking
something.
around.
But like, I think there's a lot of money to be made if just like let's make escalators just like the stairways that less horrifically dangerous. That like
Hey,
everybody doesn't
let's
have a
figure
thing.
out a
with-
way to get rid of the metal teeth on them.
Yeah. Do they need the metal teeth? Like, there's got to be an innovation they can make that would make it like, oh, most kids that go on them die or
Yeah.
like almost die. I guess most kids that go on elevators,
most kids
escalators
don't
don't die.
But then there are like horror stories
bunch of
of
near misses,
people
though.
being on them, and all of a sudden, like the stairs give out, and they wind up in the machine, and the gears
Yeah.
being ground up. I don't like that either. Yeah, escalators are scary.
Yeah. Another fact from elevatorhistory.net:
Mm-hmm.
the closed door button will not make the door close faster. Not true in
Yeah,
at
bullshit.
least the last building I lived in.
This building, like you press the door close button, the door starts closing right away.
Otherwise, my last building, freaking like you'd wait
Yeah,
like
it waits,
30 full
yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
I lived on the second floor.
You're one of those people.
No. I'm not one of those people. I always took the stairs, but to get to the basement where the laundry
Uh-huh.
was, you had to use the elevator. There was no stairway.
Sure.
You know what, Tom?
Well, I
If
hope
you ever
I hope
came
you
to
walk-
visit me,
I
you ever
won't-
came, you accepted any of my dinner party invitations.
The dog's leaving because we're yelling at each other. You could. I hope you took the elevator to the first floor and then walked. If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Complete Guide. Follow us on Twitter at Complete Guide. Follow us on Instagram at tcgte. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim.
And check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Complete Guide. This week, a very special Patreon episode. Weekly episodes on Patreon, by the way. What is it called? Amazing Facts, the reunion episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're reuniting the old cast from Amazing Facts.
You got
Me?
Tim. You got Tom.
Yep. Everybody came back for the reunion, and we're doing a throwback episode of Amazing
It's
Facts.
the reboot.
The reboot, which is longer than the old Amazing Facts, which used to just be like 15 minutes. It's
Yeah.
going to be a full episode. It's going to be fantastic. Maybe even some of these elevator facts that didn't make it into this episode might be. Well, I don't want to give too many. I don't want to hype it up too much.
Tom, this Amazing Facts reunion was filmed months ago.
It was pre-pandemic.
Yes.
Otis, the man, he was 40 when he invented the elevator, Tim. So there's still a chance for me and you to invent something as big as the elevator.
Nice.
Maybe we can invent the horizontal elevator.
They kind of have that at the Luxor.
Yeah. And trains. Trains
Oh,
are
right,
kinda the
right.
horizontal
Trains, yeah.
elevator in a lot of ways. Well, I'm glad I got out of that elevator.
I am too. Tom,
Mhm.
can I introduce a new segment?
I mean, the show's over, but
Yeah.
sure.
All right, so I'm trying not to use Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter all week. It's
Uh-huh.
been great. But I got these ideas for tweets all the time.
Well,
I need an
oh,
outlet.
Jesus Christ. This is so much worse.
So here's what we do. Every week, I'll give you my top tweet that I would have tweeted.
Okay.
Tom, like 5,200 people will be clamoring for this. Here's this week's Tim's tweet of the week.
Tim's top tweet.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. I bought some balloons for a party, and it cost me an arm and a leg. Man, inflation is no joke.
All right. We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.